What's happening, video game fanatics? This is James Hancock. I'm going to be a little delirious on this recording because it is the third recording I've done today. I did a gaming recording at the beginning of the day. That was pretty easy. But I did a podcast earlier tonight. And if you've never recorded a podcast before, it seems like it would be no big deal. Just a couple dorks sitting around talking about movies and, you know, no harm, no foul. But, actually, quick interruption. This fucker, Patches, I'm just noticing now that that handle's back out. See how the spikes are back up on the bridge? They were down beforehand. Patches messed with it because Patches is a piece of shit. But as you're going to see in this video, I run around and around that bridge on both sides, taking every shortcut I can think of, trying to avoid it, because I kept thinking I was going to find a handle, but it took me basically till the end of the video to realize I had pulled the handle in the previous video, just Patches flipped it back up because that's what Patches does. But back to what I was saying earlier, I recorded a podcast earlier with Marcus Penn, Kyle Reardon, and Jacob Rivera, which will be posted tomorrow on Wrong Reel, and we were covering the OJ... Ooh, great scythe. I'm going to be using that bitch once I get my stats up. We were covering the OJ Made in America ESPN series. Those 5 episodes, 30 for 30, and, you know, one of the coolest documentaries I've ever seen, tackling sports and race and celebrity and murder and just all these hot topics. But if you ever do a podcast, when you talk for 2 hours straight with, like, manic intensity, consulting your notes, kind of making sure there's nothing about the film that you overlook, at the end of it, you get this drainage. And maybe it's like after a hard workout or after some vigorous lovemaking, but it's incredible how just sitting there and talking with enthusiasm can leave you limp as a noodle. So it is right now 1 in the morning, and I'm recording this, and this video is a 44 or 46 minute video. So we'll see where my attention and energy goes. But this is a pretty interesting run through. I'm going to get every single item, kill every single bad guy in the Catacombs, but it's going to be the ugliest Catacombs walkthrough you've ever seen. I get lost several times, but I do clear every square inch of it. So if you follow closely, you'll see everything that it has to offer in all of its living glory. But once again, as a little reminder, you want to use a blessed weapon in here. I'm using a blessed club +5 because when these skeletons go down, they like to get back up. So make sure you hit them with a blessed weapon. Luckily, if I two-hand it, then they die in one shot. And so even though my stats aren't really designed for wielding a club, it'll get me through the run-through. Now, down at the end of the hallway is another one of these pieces of shit who is missing a leg and likes to throw lightning, and I can't lock onto him yet for some reason. So I'm having a hard time hitting him, but luckily I just eyeball it and bow! I hit him in the face with a great heavy soul arrow. Now I want to use my soul spears because these guys are powerful, but I missed because he was stabbing me in the face. Luckily I'm still locked on. Yeah, I mean, that soul spear is so powerful. And look at his health, 2 shots, and he basically lost like 70% of his health. Soul spear is awesome, and I'm going to be getting a crystal soul spear pretty soon. But at this distance, I can dodge his lightning bolts all day, and you are in Foxville, so bye-bye. Now, the reason I'm coming all the way down to the bottom first and then working my way back up is because, first and foremost, it's just easy. It's a nice shortcut to jump down here, and it's kind of fun to go ahead and do the most interesting stuff first. There are 2 major things down near the bottom of the Catacombs. One is getting inside this coffin, and at first you're just like, all right, I'm just chilling, like, no big deal. But if you're patient and you wait and you wait and you wait, eventually the door will close and you will go down to the end of the next zone where you fight one of the main bosses. But if you come down here at this point, he's still kind of friendly, and you can offer him Eyes of the Snake or Snake Eyes, whatever they're called, in order to level up a Covenant. This little cinematic's so cool. It's, you know, Dark Souls. There are times where Dark Souls truly lives up to its name and is atmospheric and evil. And for some reason, Dark Souls 1 is just darker than 2 and 3. 2 and 3, it's almost like they got afraid of their own darkness. They try to be more accessible. But in Dark Souls 1, it's like there are a couple of Covenants that are just evil, and you do bad things, and this is one of them. And the reason it's so evil is that if you give enough Snake Eyes, they give you this spell that allows you to essentially contaminate other people's games and summon bad guys into their zone, and they eventually have to face you in PvP in order to just get rid of the cancer that you've put in their game. So what a lot of people will do is they'll basically cheat their way down here really, really early in the game when they have no business being down here, but they'll just dodge things, run past things, because you can just, if you know the map really, really well, you just want to jump through things, you can come down here, get this spell early on, and then just start harassing low-level players. There's the Sarcophagus Gravelord. I'm blanking on his actual name, but he looks way different when you fight him because he's kind of like, he spreads out, and he's much more powerful, but a lot more fun. But at least I got the sword, I got the spell. I think when you've delivered, I keep calling them Snake Eyes, Eyes of Death, if you deliver 10 of them, then he gives you the next spell, but maybe it's 15? I don't know. I'm just giving him a couple Eyes of Death because I just think it looks cool, me praying to this evil god. And also I'm looking for a cool screenshot for this this video. So I think his name's like Nito or something like that. Actually, there's no way it's Nito. That would be super lame. But it's something like that. So anyway, this is one of the cool, badass evil covenants of the game. I highly recommend if you are a faith build coming down here, because all the spells that he offers have something to do with faith. So now you know where it is. And I think there's only 2 more evil covenants that I want to join in this playthrough, which I'll be showing how to do. Once again, I probably won't be maxing out really anything other than the Chaos Servant, since that unlocks a shortcut. But you hop back in the coffin or the sarcophagus, and you're back on your way. Hang on, quick water break. Now, another reason why I like to come to the end of the Catacombs first, apart from the fact that it's just super easy and streamlined to get to the end really, really quickly, is that I like to just go ahead and kill the boss, Pinwheel. Because when you kill the boss, Pinwheel, you get the Rite of Kindling. And the Rite of Kindling allows you to jack up your Estus flasks to 20 if you're willing to kindle the fires with a few extra humanities. It's what I was trying to do in a previous video and just getting confused because I thought that I don't want to call it the bowl, but I'm blanking. The Lord Vessel. See, I knew it would come to me. I thought that the Lord Vessel had something to do with getting up to 20, and it didn't. That looks like I did that on purpose, but I actually fell, and it's really, really bad because I could have fallen through either of these holes. Both of these little areas you can fall through. That's the safe way down, but if you take the safe way down, you don't get to fight this giant knight who, if you kill him, I think it's a white chunk. So you can pick either or. I don't have my soul spear, which I really need to beat him. So I'm going to try and roll down and be super slick and smooth. But I panic and roll right over the edge, which is not what I wanted, because down here are these fucking spiky wheel things, which in Dark Souls 3 are super easy. Dark Souls 1, they're incredibly powerful. And right here behind me is a sorcerer. I'm just surrounded by bad guys. And I got a little cocky here. I was going to try and take out the sorcerer, but what I didn't realize is that the knight is chasing me, and he's going to beat the fuck out of me with his giant battle axe. I'm trying to climb the ladder to get out of here, but he's having none of it. He's just cock slapping the fucking shit out of me. He's like, die, die! Anyway, I'm dead. So I'm going to run back. I'm just going to fast forward real quick. It's super easy. You through here, drop down, shortcut, run to the left, drop down through. So anyway, I really like the way the Catacombs is laid out, but it is a little disorienting at first. But you can basically do the whole place with 10 flasks. So if you just keep running around and killing stuff and doubling back and trying things for a second time, eventually you will find your way around. There's just a lot of trial and error involved. But this guy, he's got a big ass axe. I'm just trying to stay out of the way of it so I can shoot him with my soul spears, because now I do have the most powerful spell. I mean, that soul spear just took away about 90% of his health. Granted, he's about to take away 90% of my health. Quick heal and back up. You're toast. And what do I get? White Titanite chunk. Yeah, so that's crucial for leveling up either. Oh my god, I'm blanking. It's blessed. Blessed or occult or something like that, or maybe both. It's a really, really crucial leveling up mat. So what I'm going to do here, this is very, very important. Unless you are just a total badass pro player, you need to taunt or kind of pull over to you these little spiked wheel guys. I think there are 6 or 7 in the area. If they gang up on you, I mean, you're going to die in less than a second. One of them can kill you if you're at the wrong angle. So I just wait for them to come over to me. They spin, and eventually they get bored and start slowly walking away. And at that point, if you have a bow or spells like this, you can just chop them down, which is the best way to deal with them. Just wait for them to chill and lose interest, and then just blast them. But these are not the only ones in the area. They're just the ones in the immediate area. Way off in the distance, I can see a couple just up to no good, and they're pretty easy to pull. If they hear a noise, they're like, "What the fuck was that?" And they come check it out. So even if you don't hit them with the arrow, as long as you shoot a couple arrows in the area, they're gonna come over to investigate. I mean, I guess it's not hitbox, but whatever the term is for their area where they can detect enemies is absolutely huge. And I apologize if I keep kind of sort of yawning. It is not because I'm bored by the videos, just because it's been a crazy motherfucking day of podcasting and gaming and social media and all that stuff. And my day is far from done. I got to edit this video. I got to get it posted to YouTube, and I got to hop on Twitter and do some other stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's all fun stuff, but I'm just getting tired and getting a little eye strain and that sort of thing. So I think they're all gone at this point. Maybe there's one more underneath me. I'm just waiting for him to poke his head out. Yeah, there's definitely one more under there. Bye-bye, dickface. Bagoom. Oh, there's 2 more. Oh, he's spinning. But I got lucky. Even when they're spinning, usually you can't hit them from this angle. But now I can go explore. Those guys, they like to explode if you get close to them. But once they explode, they're done. So I sometimes like to kind of taunt them. I'm going to run back here because I want to get rid of the sorcerer so that the skeletons won't keep coming back to life. Just also, if I need to get out of here, I just like to know that this little hallway is friendly terrain. It's kind of complicated because you've got 2 guys with bows who are trying to shoot you. And while you're trying to shoot your spells, they can be interrupting you. But I got 2 lucky quick shots in, and they're done. And now there's only 1 skeleton left, so he is going bye-bye. So now the bottom is pretty much wide open except for the boss. I'm just climbing up the ladders to make sure that I've fully explored the area. I am OCD about fully exploring, but yeah, I poked my nose in there earlier. That's basically when I had the option of falling through the 2 holes. That was the area that I was looking into it as an alternative. So now it is time to explore the rest of the way. Now, there is an NPC you can summon to help in this upcoming fight, but it is totally, completely unnecessary because Pinwheel might be the easiest boss in the game. If you listen closely, you can hear somebody chipping away. You cannot get through on this side, but that is an important blacksmith, very important blacksmith that I will be meeting shortly. But if you need to summon an NPC to help with this boss, then you just need to retire and play another game because Pinwheel is just embarrassingly easy. And I think he's got a weakness to magic, as you're about to see, because my spells are just like a Mack truck driving over your G.I. Joe figures. They just utterly destroy them. What he does do is he's like this evil spellcaster who likes to break into different people, and then those different forms can also shoot spells at you, so you have to kill the doppelgangers in order to eliminate which one is, figure out which one's the real one and shoot him. But here he is just doing some weird evil shit because this is Dark Souls and he's just surrounded by books and skeletons, and yeah, it's a freaky game. And I wish Dark Souls 2 and 3 were as freaky and strange as the first one, because the atmosphere and style of this is what keeps me coming back to it and what makes it a classic. Those masks are a lot of fun for role-playing and cosplaying. Anyway, Pinwheel, you're about to eat a soul spear. Have fun. Boom. I mean, that's almost half his health. Second shot, he's almost dead. Someone's shooting me from behind, but yeah, occasionally he'll teleport. I'm gonna shoot him with 1 soul arrow. That's the end of the boss. So yeah, Pinwheel is a joke. So he's dead, and now I've got the Rite of Kindling, and I can, as long as you're in human form and have humanities, you can now jack up your bonfires to 20 Estus flasks, which is not necessary at all in the Catacombs, but is super necessary in some future areas. So now at least I've got that option. I think I only end up like taking a few bonfires to 20 per playthrough, All right, that whole area down there, that's all darkness. That's the next zone beyond it. I'm not going down there yet because I want to do the painted world of Aramis or whatever it's called beforehand. But imagine going through that with no source of light. Yeah, I don't have my light spell equipped, so I'm not even about to screw with it. Plus, doubling back, it gives me access to a little item. But yeah, it's just the visibility is non-existent. I highly, highly recommend either Skull Lantern or light before going down in there. So now I'm just going to now I'm at the very bottom of the catacombs. I'm going to just work my way back up in reverse, mostly because I just want to refamiliarize myself with the zone. That item, I will be coming down and getting it at the end of the video, so not to worry. You have to just drop down from a shortcut in order to snag it. But now it's just a matter of trial and error and figuring out all the places I've been to, figuring out which places I haven't been to, and retrieving the remainder of the items. There are no big bosses left. All I got are a few little sorcerers to take out and like one giant skeleton dude, but nothing too challenging. The only thing that's a challenge in this is my own stupidity when I die to fall damage, get lost, do things that I shouldn't. But yeah, there's still a few deaths left for you to look forward to, since half the fun of watching playthroughs is watching the player die and freak the fuck out. So I aim to please on that front. Quick water break so I can stop doing after every damn sentence. Okay, so you've in this part of the area, I sound like an idiot. In this area, you got a bunch of skeletons. They're all fast. They all roll. Every time I come through here, they always fuck me up. But every time I think that I can shoot them before they get to me, every time I'm wrong. Also, if you might have noticed, I still got the rusted iron ring on, but I'm about to finally change that because I know my soul arrows should be one-shotting these guys, but they're not because I got the wrong ring equipped. And as soon as I'm done with these guys, I finally fix my ring issue, which I think I've been playing at this point for hours with the rusted iron ring on, which is not helping me at all, but it hasn't really stopped me or slowed me down. But it's time to put on a proper sorcery ring and blast some motherfuckers and do some one-shotting with my weakest spell. So, like I said, I'm going to work my way up in reverse, relearn the map. I mean, Catacombs isn't that hard, but because it's like basically similar looking areas on two sides of a gorge, it's real easy to get confused as to which one you are in and what to do. So just starting at the bottom and working my way up linearly is an easy way to get oriented. This is me forgetting that shooting these guys with spells is pointless because they will come back to life. The whole point of having this club is to use it. But anyway, I got backstabbed because of my forgetfulness. Yeah, I love that. Flying two-handed whack does the trick every time. So through here are a bunch of people who will have their archer skeletons and regular skeletons. There's no gear on this side, but they keep coming back to life. It's a really, really hard area if you try to kill everything and then go. So my advice is always just to, I guess, poke my nose up here first and see what's happening, because I thought I was about to go in there, but clearly I got scared and decided not to. And I see the spiked bridge. And that's when I realized I've messed something up, because that bridge should be down, or it should be flipped. So, sorry, that was a tease. I'm not going through that entrance that I opened up. I'm going to go back, and I'll work my way back around. But don't worry, I promise, like I said, I get to everything in this video. I just do it in a really, really haphazard, chaotic way. Like, here's a perfect example of me playing like a fool. I reversed the hollowing because I was planning on using 1 humanity and jacking this thing up to 15 Estus flasks. But I totally forget that I've restored my humanity, so it's pointless to restore your humanity unless you're planning on summoning something or opening yourself up to being invaded. And I'm a dumbass. And as you'll see, that humanity that I use to restore my humanity is pointless because I just get killed anyway, so that's just me being forgetful. But as soon as I was done recording my previous podcast, I've basically been waiting for the audio files from my partners in crime to arrive, and one person's internet was slow, so it was taking a while, so I was like, screw it. If I've got to wait an hour or two for an audio file to arrive, I might as well geek out on some Dark Souls. Then I just got way in over my head and decided I was going to clear all the Catacombs in one video, so the episode of our podcast will have to wait. So yeah, just going to eat some souls and pass another level. My intelligence is starting to get pretty damn high. In terms of total level, kind of something to keep an eye on in terms of how many ability scores you'll have to throw around. Most of my playthroughs, I say most, like I've done it so many times, Dark Souls, which I've only cleared twice, the first one, at the end of it, I tend to be around a level 100, give or take 1 or 2 levels. And you should kind of plan accordingly. I mean, unless you're going to farm certain areas. There's a place in the Painted World of Aramis where if you're a pyromancer and you've got some heavy armor, you can farm these giant like slime things that have shields and spears and kill a bunch of them all at once and just farm shitloads of souls. I mean, you can get like 100,000 souls every 20 minutes, which allows you just to really jack up your stats if that's what you want. I mean, you don't need to do it, but if you just want to have a super powered badass player that can just rock people, it is an option, and I will show where that area is. But if you just play through without trying to cheese anything, I think you're about 100 when you're finished. If you just rip through the game without stopping, actually, no, I don't know. The people that clear the game in like 45 minutes, I don't know what their level is when they finish. I know that when people do their speed runs of Dark Souls 3, this is me just trying to eyeball it, there's a couple ledges you can drop down to, and if you miss them, you die. Like that. If you hit the bump, it shoots you off to the side, and you die. But down below is a cool area because you got an item you can get on the way down, and you've got the blacksmith. So not to be deterred by a little death, what you're supposed to do is drop a few prism stones and use the prism stones as a way of gauging where the ledges are and then drop down. But I don't have any prism stones on me because I haven't found any by drops yet, nor have I bought any. So I'm just trying by process of dying to figure out how to miss the big bump and land on the ledge. If I hit the big bump again, I actually did the exact same thing, but got lucky as hell because I landed there, so at least I'm alive. So I missed the item, but at least I get to go through the hole in the bottom and start the next part of the Catacombs. So yeah, this guy, he's not super nice, but he's super useful. There's one of the large embers in the game. I think it's like a giant flame ember that if you bring it to him, you can take your weapons up, your flame weapons up really high. I almost never use flame weapons, but he is the guy where you can get that done later on. Hang on, another water break. But also, it's just useful having blacksmiths in the area in case you want to do some upgrades in the middle of a dungeon. If you've been gathering Twinkling Titanites, or you just feel like jacking up some of your stuff. And at this point, I'm starting to realize there are a few pieces of gear that I know I'm going to keep wearing. And one that I'm definitely going to wear through the entire thing is my antiquated dress, like the top piece. I think it looks cool. I love the way it's kind of like metallic and shiny. Like when you catch it at the right angle, it makes you look really like slick and lean and powerful. And I just think it looks really, really cool on a female character. The rare gear that you can upgrade with Twinkling Titanite, you can only take to +5. So that chest piece is now almost fully upgraded, which will just give me a very, very slight, small additional bonus to survival, repair myself as well. I mean, Dark Souls, even if you jack up all your gear for protection, it's never that strong. It just gives you teeny tiny little imperceptible differences that are kind of helpful, which all those little teeny tiny imperceptible differences add up over time, which is kind of the point of upgrading a lot of things. But I'm going to basically, before the end of the game, my hands and my legs will be upgraded. The chest, the headpiece cannot be upgraded, so I can just save my mats. I don't feel like fighting all those little pinwheel bastards again, so I'm just teleporting back to the bonfire. And now we enter the part of the video where I start kind of getting lost and doing stupid things. But, like I said, have no fear. I know I keep saying this, but in the next 22 minutes and 25 seconds, I promise you everything that can be done that's remaining in Catacombs will be done. It just takes me a little while to figure it out. So, skeletons, as always, two-handed club, jump at them, and they go bye-bye. I'm going to spend a lot of the next 20 minutes looking for the handle to flip that bridge back over, not realizing it's a handle that I've already messed with once. And so that's what's confusing me, is that the handle popped out. I just need to pop it back in. But I will figure it out before the end of the video, and we'll all end happily with a giant smile on our face and moving on to the next zone. Parried that guy. Yeah, check that out. Boom! I love that. It's so satisfying, especially when you kind of suck at parrying and riposting. When you finally get one, you're like, yeah! All right, this bridge that's basically the very first bridge that I flipped, and so that was me just getting kind of not reconfigured, just kind of finding my bearings and just knowing where I am. And after, like I said, after you've gone up and down both sides a few times, you will recognize things by sight. It's just really, really hard to explain it and do it perfectly. I have watched playthroughs like the one by the Scots Gay for Games. When they go through the catacombs, they got their routes worked out perfectly, so they just go down one side, go down the next side, and they're done. But they've also probably been through it 100 times. For me, this is, by the time I'm finished with this playthrough, it will be my third complete Dark Souls 1 playthrough. So I know the game, I just don't have it memorized. So going back down, at the bottom of this is where that pit is, going down to the blacksmith. I've already pushed that one in, so I'm going to leave it alone. Just trying to figure it out, man. And this is me debating whether I should jump again and saying, fuck that. So, yeah, it's just a moment of indecision, trying to figure out what I need to do, because I think I'm looking for the area where you smack a hole in the wall and go in and get a ring that's vital for joining the Blade of the Dark Moon. So, yeah, this is probably the 9th time you see me do this little shortcut, but it is a really, really useful shortcut. So, because usually every time you do it, 1 or 2 skeletons follow you off and die, which is always fun to watch. Please don't walk off that ledge. You were just there. Nice. All right. In a rare moment of clarity, I didn't do something really, really dumb. But I don't want to go down the tunnel behind me. So yeah, so I'm still just searching. This is me being idiotic. Once again, taking on these skeletons as the charge, thinking I can get them. I killed one, but they just start chopping you up. And they can put bleeds on you. They're bad news. So, as always, I just need to retreat, heal, and shoot these guys at range. At least I have the right ring on this time, so they die in one shot. So, live and learn. Getting better. Increment by increment. Die, you fuck. Alright, he's going bye-bye. And now, run around these floating skull head things. Usually, they blow up if you just run by them, but these guys are just hovering for some reason. But, like I said, if you don't use the bonfire unless you absolutely have to, because, like I said, you can clear this whole place, making it very easy to explore and navigate after you've killed everything. So even if you get lost, everything just stays dead, and that makes it a hell of a lot easier to learn your way around. Once again, I'm not learning my lesson. The previous time I came through this doorway, I shot those guys with my spells, and they got back up. They've gotten back up again. Kill them with the blessed weapon. It's not glamorous, but it just makes more sense. Now, please go back. Turn around and go through the hole in the wall. This is me just being stubborn and stupid. I'm just so desperate to try to figure out how to flip that thing. And in that I'm recording this 20 minutes after playing it, it's very frustrating because I know the answer, but at least I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go through this hole now and just roll through, keep moving. There's no gear. It's just a couple skeletons, a few archers strategically placed. But there's a big skeleton down here to be careful of because he will beat the hell out of you. There he is. And blasting these guys with spells isn't going to be super useful because they get back up. So my goal is always to get rid of the big skeleton first, and then I can tend to the little guys with my club. But yeah, that's somebody already getting back up. I mean, that is just such a buzzkill how these guys just keep coming back to life. But that's part of what makes the catacombs a challenge. If they didn't get back up, people would just walk all over this place. You gotta respect the skeletons. But this is a great item, Darkmoon Sound Ring. You know what? I just realized I think there's a soul behind that, and I forgot that it was there. I'm gonna get that before I start my next video. But just remember, go around on the other side of it. There is a soul packet. It's not worth including in a video, but when I saw it and just grabbed the ring, I just remembered it is definitely there. So it's definitely worth grabbing. Here's the last wizard or sorcerer, whatever you want to call him, pyromancer, it's like whatever they are. But I'm going to lure the skeleton down here, kill him with a club, and then take out the pyromancer. He's being stupid, so he's just got to die with a two-handed attack. Yeah, these guys, they throw these pretty nasty fireballs. They're kind of hard to I kind of like to look at them. They're cool as hell looking, but they do so much damage. You got to kind of go ahead and get rid of them. But there's a skull lantern. Skull lantern is awesome. You can turn it in at the nest for a really cool item, or do not drop down. That's a mistake. There's a ladder. Or you can use them for light. If you're not a sorcerer and don't plan on being a sorcerer and don't have a light spell, you can use the skull lantern in the next zone, the big giant zone. But like I said, I'm not going down there quite yet, just because I want to do Painted World of Aramis first. Because the Painted World, I'll pass a few levels and get some gear, and it's one of my favorite zones in the game. If you are a faith build, that is an awesome spell. Tranquil Walk of Peace, absolutely required in your collection. This is such an awful trap because you basically drop down back at the beginning of the Catacombs, and you got bad guys all around you, and it just sucks. I probably should have fast forwarded through this part because you've already seen me kill these guys before. But when I was editing this video before my commentary, I forgot to do so. So now it's too late. So you just gotta watch me kill these guys. But yeah, that sending you back to the very, very top is just cruel and unusual punishment. I guess it's not the very top, but this is how I figure out what's going wrong with my bridges, because I started experimenting with some of the other handles, and then I finally figure out what's happening. But anyway, we got 15 minutes left in this video. I think all that remains is getting a few crystal lizards and getting that item that's down in that pit. So just gonna hang out now. This is something I was doing a little homework before I started recording about things I could talk about when I'm just watching boring stuff like this, something I've already done. But this Saturday is UFC 202. So if you watch this after the middle of August 2016, you'll already know the results. But if you watch this between now, which is Wednesday, and Saturday, the outcome is very much in doubt. And I don't know if you follow MMA, but MMA is one of my great passions. I love MMA. I love movies, I love comics, I love video games, and I love MMA. And Conor McGregor is having a rematch with Nate Diaz. And tonight at a press conference, they literally were screaming at each other and throwing water bottles at each other. Something I never even seen in a press conference before. Going ahead and killing that guy. Oh my God! I accidentally targeted him, which almost took me off the edge. That would have been silly. But going back to UFC 202. Conor McGregor is total badass from Ireland. He's the featherweight champ, even though he hasn't fought at featherweight since December. And Nate Diaz is a kind of perennial contender. Oh, they're the Crystal Lizards at 155, but also fights at 170. And it's an interesting thing because Conor McGregor doesn't need to fight anyone at 170, but he's just determined to keep fighting Nate Diaz at 170 until he beats him at 170. But Nate Diaz is a naturally bigger guy, but it's great theater. I mean, they both are making a lot. The reason I'm fast forwarding now is because I'm logging in and out to make the Crystal Lizards appear and reappear. I missed them because I'm slow and stupid, but now I'm going to do it again. But I just love the fact that they seem to have found the natural adversaries. Like Conor was already making tons of cash before this rivalry with Nate Diaz began. Nate Diaz was just making nothing on his fights, earning sometimes like $15,000 on fights, but I think he made a couple million off his first fight with Conor. So they're kind of born to get riled up by each other. But yeah, I was just watching earlier, and it's weird because Nate Diaz and Conor have been getting along in press conferences until a couple days ago. So whether it's them just hamming it up for the sake of increasing interest, or if it's for real, I mean, they're both crazy motherfuckers who hate to back down. My prediction, I'm going on record, even though I want to see Conor win, because I want to see Conor and Nate go for a trilogy, but they're not going to go for a trilogy if Conor loses 2 in a row. I would like to see Conor. I'd like to see Conor win by knockout, but I think Nate will probably, in the 3rd round, win by submission because his cardio is so insane. I don't know if you know about the Diaz brothers, but Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz. All right, see the bridge in the background? That's me experimenting with flipping it. I realized that is not the handle that I'm looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for, so I flip it back. But Nick and Nate Diaz, they did not grow up with money. They just grew up with nothing but jiu-jitsu and poverty. And if they went to jiu-jitsu class, at the end of class, they were given a burrito. So that was their incentive for going to class. But there's just no quitting them. And the way they kind of stay chill is they smoke weed and do triathlons and the biking, swimming, and running and that sort of thing. So their cardio is just off the charts. No one's ever going to see them quit due to fatigue. And I'm just wondering if Conor's got the cardio to go the distance with Nate Diaz, because Nate Diaz he definitely has lost before by decision, and he's lost by, I think, knockout once. I think I have that right. All right, there's the bridge. I finally figured it out. So now everything's 100% in the position that it needs to be. And the only thing that remains to do is to go down that hole and get that last item. So I'm going to try to eyeball it one last time. But I think this is me going to the wrong side because I'm getting lost. But I'm so tired recording this video that I can't even really remember what's happening. Oh no, now I know what I'm doing. I'm looking for the shortcut down to the 2 items you get through the shortcut dropping down to fight Pinwheel. It's where the NPC can be summoned, but I'm just looking down trying to figure out where to drop. So yeah, now my brain is caught up with the game again, and I know what it is I'm doing. So yeah, just drop down here, drop down there. Yeah, because now I can see the item. I know I'm on the right side. And I fucked up there. That's a mistake. So now I got to run back up and around and do the shortcut again. I mean, this is just a comedy of errors, how many mistakes I've made on this this playthrough. I could have done all of the Catacombs in like 30 minutes if I hadn't made so many stupid mistakes. But, you know, you can't keep the entirety of the game trapped in your memory. That's too much information. Like, you can keep some shortcuts and some secrets and everything, but like I said, as long as I'm finding the spells and finding the gear, if I make the occasional wrong turn, I hope you guys will forgive me. Yeah, so you turn left, drop through the hole, and then the only thing you gotta watch out for is the little skull things that want to explode and knock you off, because you need to drop off the edge very gently, and they try to make it more difficult and make you fall off the wrong spot. So yeah, if I were to look down right now, I'd see them spot, but I'm just trying to not taunt them, but kind of lure them away a bit and get some of them to explode so that I can try to drop off the ledge in peace. Déjame en paz, as they say in Espanol. Yeah, so that one exploded. The other 2 are still doing their thing, so I'm just gonna go back down and start looking for a spot to roll. With the person you can summon down here, I don't even know if you need to have previously spoken with them to make them appear, because I never use anyone to fight Pinwheel. I've never really looked that deeply into it. But if you go to the Dark Souls wiki, you'll see there's only one NPC in the entire zone. So yeah, I'm trying to roll, but I fuck up, and yeah, that's me just sucking at video games. I mean, if you think I'm getting mad by watching this after the fact, you should hear me when I die in real time. I just... Fuck me, fucking babbity. I mean, I actually such a child, but I'm right back where I was. Now it's time to drop down the right way. Almost messed up again, hitting that bump. I mean, they know how to design this stuff. They know which way you're gonna try and go, as opposed to which way you ought to go, and they put these little bumps out to make it more difficult. But I got a lucky roll, and now it's time to drop down and get that last piece. And after I get this, the only thing remaining is that item in the hole leading down to the blacksmith. So I'm grabbing some faith gear, the priest gear, which I will never wear in this tune, but I'm a completist. I just like having all the sets for dress up. When I'm not recording, I just hang out and try on outfits and see what I like. And that's maybe true, maybe not, but I'll leave that for you to decide. But that is part of the fun of Dark Souls, so this is me speeding things up, and I realize now that... Oh, actually, I think it looks like I'm going to try to eyeball the fall down to that item in that hole one last time. So I'm fast-forwarding, killing the bad guys. I messed up. I should have gone down the other side. I mean, it's crazy. I'm still learning this place even after I've been here for like 45 minutes, going up and down on both sides. It gets real easy to confuse. It's real easy to get confused about which side you're on. But now I'm at the right spot. I'm looking down. I almost decided to cheat and just turn the brightness of my TV as bright as it would go to figure out which ledges I could drop down to. And I fucked up. Almost made it, but by some miracle, I survived. I hit enough bumps on the way down, but I still didn't get the item. So I'm down here anyway, so I might as well go upgrade my chest piece one last time. But what I don't notice is that someone decided to follow me down. And he's starting to swing, and now he's starting to hit me. What I was terrified was that he would kill the blacksmith. If the blacksmith dies, he ain't coming back. So I'm trying desperately just to roll out of the area, and I'm trying to stay alive. So I'm in a really tight spot here, because if the blacksmith dies, that's part of the game that just will not come back. Luckily, I mean, look at that. He was down to like 40% of his health. So luckily I got the fuck out of the way. Heal up, kill this piece of shit. But yeah, that's one thing about Dark Souls that's crazy. If an NPC dies, that side of the game is just kind of done for you. But when you're done with your playthrough, what I recommend is any NPC that you don't need, run through, kill whichever ones you want, because usually they have cool items and things like that. Another thing to keep in mind between New Game and New Game Plus is that if you jack up certain bonfires, some of those bonfire will will carry over into the next playthrough. So definitely keep that in mind. You can, I believe the Firekeeper bonfire will stay powerful, but you definitely want to try to jack up a few of your bonfires because you'll save a lot of humanities on New Game Plus. Granted, you're probably going to lose a lot of humanities as well in New Game Plus because you're going to be dying a lot more and having to regain your humanity a lot more. So this is me finally throwing in the towel and realizing, you know what? I need some Prism Stones. Prism Stones are really only vital in the... what is it called? It's like this crystal cave? Is that what it's called? But it's this crystal area with these crystal giants all over the place. They're a huge pain in the butt. But it's an area with invisible bridges. And most of the invisible bridges you can see because they're straight. And they have this little bit of like glitter on them. But there's one area where if you want to get the blue Titanite slab, and a blue Titanite slab, I think there are only 2 in an entire playthrough. To get it, you have to drop little prison stones in this area to figure out where you can walk on the invisible bridges so you don't fall off and die. But if you want to take an enchanted weapon to +5, you have to have a blue Titanite slab. So I believe there's one in the expansion pack, and there's one in the Crystal Cave, but I very well might want to have 2 enchanted weapons +5, so I'm going to be getting both blue Titanite slabs. This is the person who sells the Prism Stones. They're super cheap, so I'm just going to buy 99 of them because I don't feel like coming back to this motherfucker and buying Prism Stones again. So just taking it all the way up, and yeah, as you can tell, they're only 10 souls a pop. Boom. Buy another Homer Bone because I've been kind of ripping through those pretty greedily. And I think I'm done buying everything else. Alluring Skulls I don't really need. Transient Curse I might need 1 or 2 more, but hopefully I'll get some drops when I go to New Londo Ruins. Not New Londo Ruins. Actually, yeah, this is called New Londo. Whether it's the ruins or not, it's New Londo. Now it is time to go back to where I was, but I'm going to buy 1 quick spell. Even though I don't need to have multiple versions of some of these weaker spells, for whatever reason, I don't like the idea of there being sorcery spells that I don't have, but it's kind of a waste of souls. I could be using those souls to level up or improve my gear. Sadly, there is no way to teleport to the Catacombs, so you just gotta hoof it down on foot. So I'm just fast forwarding through all this. You do not need to see this for the 900th time, so I'm just saving us all a little time, a little grief. The one thing we can't get back in this life is time. If you lose money, you can get it back. If you get out of shape, you can get back in shape. You can recover from anything stupid that you do. But the one thing we don't get back is our time. So I'm trying to save y'all time when possible. One last sip of water. This is a long video. I need to make half-hour videos. Talking for 45 minutes definitely is a test on the old vocal cords, especially when I've been talking about O.J. Simpson all night on my podcast. But if you do not know what my podcast is, go to iTunes, look up Wrong Reel, and we've done 170 episodes at this point, and tomorrow I'll be posting the 171st, and I'm very proud of that podcast, so please subscribe and check it out. So you run down to the bottom of the stairs, kill the skeletons, because what you don't want is any of them sneaking up behind you and whacking you and making you fall off while you're so delicately dropping prism stones trying to find your route. They make a little noise when they fall a long way, but yeah, you just equip them and just stand near the edge. Try a couple different angles, drop a couple different ones, and wherever they land on something solid, they will give you an idea of where you want to go. The key is not to try and drop right down to that ledge, because as you've seen in previous attempts, that big bump will push you away every time. You just will not land on it. So you kind of have to go at a different angle. And so I'm just dropping a whole bunch of them because I've got tons of them, but I'm just trying to see if there's anything else I can land on, because it's not about getting down and living, it's about getting down and getting that item. That's the whole point of coming down here, is to get the stupid item, because it's the last thing in the Catacombs that I don't have. So I've got a pretty good idea of where some solid ground is now, and I just roll the dice, and I make it. Yeah. And now it's just a simple walk off, and I can get the last item. And was it worth it? Was it worth all that trouble? Green Titanite Shard. Kinda. I mean, I need a lot of Green Titanite Shards to finish. I need to get my dagger up to +5 magic before I can begin the enchant path. But I think I still need 1 or 2 more Green Titanite Shards, so I can go back to that vendor in Anor Londo and buy some more Green Titanite Shards and finish taking it up to +5. Yeah, it looks like... Damn, I haven't gotten it to +4 yet, so I've got quite a ways to go before I can get that. But I don't have the item that allow me to go the enchant route anyway, so there's no hurry. So say goodbye to the Catacombs. We will not be coming back here for a while. We eventually will come back because we're going to go through it into that horrible dark place beyond. But now it is time to move on to the next zone. I just have decided, not for any real reason, but just because I like it, I'm going to do the Painted World of Ariamis. And when I get to Anor Londo, I'm going to join the Dark Moon Blades. I'm going to maybe buy some more Green Titanites. I'm going to take care of a couple things on my to-do list before going into the Painted World of Ariamis. Because once you get to Painted World of Ariamis, until you clear it for the first time, you're stuck there. You cannot get out of it. And it's not that hard to clear, especially now that I can jack up my flask to 20. But anyway, I'm back at the beginning of Anor Londo. Gonna take a bow. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please subscribe, comment, forgive on my tired rambling, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye, 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 bye.